Salut. Donc, le podcast d'aujourd'hui, c'est avec trois joueurs, trois coéquipiers que j'ai à l'école ici à Mercyhurst, avec qui je joue. Ils viennent d'États différents aux États-Unis. Les trois sont américains. Donc, je l'ai fait avec eux parce que je voulais voir un peu la différence de eux, leur parcours aux États-Unis, d'une façon, parce qu'eux jouent juste au field. Il y a pas, les trois n'ont pas joué jamais au box. Ils ont joué au field toute leur vie. Aussi voir, comme un peu le rêve américain d'aller jouer aux États-Unis et tout. Donc, des choses comme ça. Donc, trois Américains aujourd'hui qui parlent juste anglais. Les sous-titres vont être en bas de la vidéo. Pour activer les sous-titres français, cliquez sur le bouton paramètres ci-dessous. Choisissez français, puis cliquez sur le bouton sous-titres. Mais c'est super le fun. J'ai eu bien du plaisir à leur parler. J'ai appris des choses sur des gars avec qui ça fait 2, 3 ans maintenant que je côtoie chaque jour, que je savais pas. Donc, ça a été super le fun d'apprendre à propos d'eux. Puis, j'espère que vous allez aimer votre visionnement ou, euh, ou votre écoute si vous êtes juste sur Spotify.
Um, for the people at home, I am with Andrew Vetter, Adam Oscarson, and David Fiorini, which are three boys on my team at Mercyhurst right now. Vetter's from Pittsburgh, Oski from Ohio. Where in Ohio exactly?
I'm from Hudson, Ohio, so about 20 minutes south of Cleveland.
All right. So from there, and then Dave, that kind of. Are you from Maine, or are you from you were from Maine and then moved to Syracuse, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Portland, Maine.
Yeah, that's so far.
So far.
What did you guys think of yesterday?
Not good.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough one. A lot of things we got to work on for sure. And we eliminate some of those pipes that we hit at the beginning of the game, changes our whole momentum and probably the outcome of that game. But definitely a little game, another little reality check for us early on in the season. But a lot of stuff we can work on. Just got to keep head up and keep going.
Yeah, tough loss for the guys yesterday. Go ahead, Vet. What were you gonna say?
Just to piggyback off that, honestly, a lot of people are not necessarily, hanging their heads, but you got to realize that this is a brand new team with a lot of people stepping into new roles, and then bringing in a completely new coaching staff to put in different schematics, something that we're not used to exactly. It's a learning curve for sure, but if you look at the progress we took from 2 weeks ago at Wingate to yesterday, yesterday we were 100% on clearing. We didn't fail one clear. So you got to take baby steps and keep chipping away at what we have to work on, and things are going to fall into place. And I think that's what people have to realize. I think just take it day by day, come into practice, ready to learn, ready to be engaged, because you never know when your number is going to be called. So I think that's another thing that needs to be preached.
Yeah, no, we I think we'll be that type of team that kind of comes together later in the season, and then we'll peak comes playoff time. We just got to make sure we win a few of those ranked games, so we're at least considered to make the playoffs. But no, I think at least for the I think kind of a confidence boost a little bit in that fourth quarter to see the ball go into net and be successful a little there. Definitely tough to come close and not make it, but if only our goalie knew how to fucking score a goal.
Emo, man.
Put him on the line.
That would have been electric, dude.
It's definitely easy for us to hit the panic button being 0-2. I don't think we've ever been 0-2. So, it's definitely a tough start, but I don't know. It's early. Got plenty of time to right this ship.
I feel like we've also never gone on 2 really far trips early in the season, though.
Yeah, back-to-back long trips was kind of brutal.
Yeah, and dude, yesterday before the game, that whole scenario, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was wild.
Not sleeping, and Indy killed us too.
Yeah,
I know. But yeah, this whole ice thing, fucking. How long did we end up waiting? It was just an hour, right? But
It was like an hour and a half, I think. I think we got there at like 10:30, around 10 maybe. We didn't go out till noon, so hour and a half, probably 2 hours.
They sucked at plowing the field. Holy.
Well, that was brutal.
Thing. Like
they don't have that Mercyhurst shoveling grit.
Exactly. Put us on the field, we would have had that thing done in 30 minutes.
We also would have started like at fucking 8 in the morning. So
it would have been so early. We would have woken up first thing, been like, all right, to the field shoveling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we had to do for Andy last year. We were shoveling the stands.
All the stands.
Yeah, for our parents' little butts so they can sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
We should pay like another team to just shovel the field for us.
I don't know how. Yeah, but then again, I don't know who's going to want to wake up at 8 a.m. to do that.
Yeah, we don't even have money to travel, so.
Yeah.
All right. We can start one by one. Just kind of, I like you guys to talk about how you got in lacrosse. So kind of talk about, the age that you got into, how that happened. Was it a coach, a family member, whatever? And a little bit of your path to kind of get to where we are. And then I can kind of talk about like comparison to us in Canada, or at least in Quebec, how it kind of works. So I don't know who's ready to start, but
I'll kick us off. So I started playing lacrosse in, I want to say pretty sure it was fourth or fifth grade. A lot of my friends who I played youth football with played lacrosse, but they've been playing since they were second or even third grade. So I was not necessarily like a late bloomer into the scenario, but I definitely came up later than some people. And when I first started, just like most people, you just kind of, you go into the positions that everybody plays. Now, youth level, there's obviously no long poles. There's no like real specialists or anything. So we were kind of just playing midfield, playing attack, playing defense. So I think learning the fundamentals definitely helped me, obviously, come to where I am today. So then fast forward to, I want to say 7th or 8th grade. I was playing midfield and I was wrestling at the time. And my coach was like, at that point, that's kind of when people start to specialize a little bit. So he was like, I kind of want to push you towards face-off, see how you do. Immediately, I kind of fell in love with the position because it was something that I was honestly relatively used to. It's a one-on-one matchup. You either win or you lose. Some people look at that as a bad thing. I thought it was a good thing because it's just like the level of compete is just there. People don't realize that it's like, it's so like a huge amount of pressure pushing against each other for 5 to 7 seconds. And then when you get out of it, and then you're just in a real mukbang of people just trying to take your head off, take your arms off. So when I figured that out, it was fun. So then I kind of stayed with that. But in high school, I still played midfield and still ran D-midi. But then I really started to specialize. In club, that's all I did was take face-offs. I was a forward for the club team. And fast forward now, it's kind of what I'm doing here. That's kind of what led me to Mercyhurst. I know you said we'll get into the recruiting process a little bit later, and I'll talk more about that. But that's kind of my full journey on how I started playing lacrosse.
Do you play other sports coming up or no?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was playing football and I wrestled.
Wrestling, yeah. I feel like a lot of those wrestling guys end up taking face-offs.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was still the knee down motorcycle grip, so you were used to being on your hands, and used to getting out of tight spaces. So that's what led me. And then the rule change happened, and the whole community went into an uproar. But now I love the rules. The rules now are way better than what they were before. So if they can just figure out the rules and not make it a gray area anymore in black and white, I think that's how the position is going to stay. But
what do
rumors going around.
What do you think though of the PLL kind of trying to get rid of those though? Because didn't they just put a rule where like poles aren't allowed on the wings anymore?
No, poles aren't allowed to take face-offs. So there was a 32-second. There still is a 32-second shot clock off the face-off. And now what teams were doing is they just put a pole at the X now and playing almost like a prevent game. So have a face-off guy, who can't really handle the ball. Like I know the Chrome had Connor Farrell. Honestly, if Connor Farrell sees this, I'm actually just like roasting him right now. But like this wasn't like he wasn't necessarily the guy who could handle the ball. Where like I don't know who was. Like Trevor Baptiste. He was the one who could honestly like handle the ball throughout those situations. So the Atlas had a guy to do that. But the Water Dogs, like they didn't even dress the face-off guy. They had Zach Courier and Eli Novak just take draws at the X. So at that point, then you're just playing prevent and locking off every single person. So you make the face-off guy have to make a play. Let's say you do go to the defensive side. That's already 10 seconds off the shot clock. Now you have 22 seconds to clear. So that's what teams are doing. But I kind of like the rule change, honestly. If they brought it to the college game, I wouldn't be too mad about it, to be honest. It speeds the flow of the game up even more than it already is. The whole reason why they changed the rules in college to begin with was to eliminate the lockups and make the face-offs faster, to make it more kind of like basketball, like fast breaks in basketball. Granted, there are some like tie-ups still a little bit, and those are bound to happen. But the way people are teaching stuff now, the more each year it's progressively getting faster and faster. So you're eliminating those kinds of tie-ups and giving like athletic guys not necessarily took face-offs to begin with. Their coach was like, okay, how about you go try face-offs as a midfielder and just see what happens. So.
No, I like your point of like there's more of an athletic side than I feel like before when like with the whole knee down and stuff, a lot of face-off guys were just like these fucking huge like dudes that would just put like all their weights in there. As like now I feel like you look at the variety of face-off guys, it's a lot more like athletes and more guys that can actually like play lacrosse, which is I think is really really great to see. Yeah, we'll come back to the whole high school and club lacrosse better, but Oski, how's it in Ohio? We'll wait for Maine, Dave, because Maine is really special. So
my journey's a little funny. So the reason I hopped into lacrosse was I actually ended up getting cut from the travel baseball team in 5th grade. It was a tough loss. Some tears were coming down the face that day when I found out. But my mom ends up signing me up for the Hudson lacrosse camp like 2 weeks after, and I was complaining about how I didn't want to go. I had no lacrosse gear, so I ended up borrowing gear from like our neighbor, and ended up going to the lacrosse camp. I won like camper of the week, and I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. So started playing lacrosse then in 5th grade. Stuck it all the way through, and it's definitely a little different in Ohio. I mean, where I come from, Hudson, we've always had like a very well-known lacrosse program in Ohio. And we've been like very recognized within the Midwest, but I mean, Ohio, it's definitely up and coming. There are definitely some powerhouses all throughout, but at the same time, there's a lot of those schools that the kids are really just like dusters and probably just like the first time ever playing lacrosse. So, I mean, it kind of balances each other out, but I mean, definitely up and coming overall.
Yeah, no, I think, well, it's definitely good to have like, I feel like especially in the US, like having those huge universities like the Ohio State now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where like you kind of have something to look up for, and it's not just like you play and you don't really know anyone that's good or like stuff like that. But that's kind of interesting. So you were a baseball guy. Damn.
Huge baseball guy. Yeah.
I played baseball for 3 years, dude.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't my sport after I realized once they caught me. I was, well, screw them. And picked up a lacrosse stick.
What'd you play? Did you even have positions back then, or was it just like anyone's random?
I was a right fielder, so pretty much the worst player on the team.
Dude, I was the same. I was
Yeah.
outfield and I was like ninth batter or something. That just was not. I was not good at all. God. But then I wish I stuck to baseball though. I feel like it's so much like you don't get hit. You hit a ball, then you're on the outfield. You run 3 yards and you're done.
It's a sport where your body can just take it.
Yeah, and you make freaking $700 million a year.
Yeah, to just stand
Whatever
there
show,
half the time.
whatever show Otani signed for, like $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
God. All right, Dave. How's Maine? How's lacrosse in Maine, huh?
Maine, it's all right. It's weird. There'll be years, just a little history of Maine. I mean, like there'll be years that you see tons of kids going D1, like D2, D3, like top schools too. And then there would be this big drop off where you don't have like the state just has no real talent. But then I guess recently, like in my grade, when I graduated in 2019, there was, let's see, I think there was like 5 or 6 of us that committed D1 in like the whole state. So it's small, but growing up for me, I was a baby and there's pictures of me holding lacrosse sticks. I was playing lacrosse ever since I could walk. My dad, he played, his 3 brothers all played. He actually coached me in high school. He was my high school coach. So, I mean, growing up, I was playing my whole life. I tried T-ball, baseball, hated it. I cried going to every game. I was like, I don't want to do this. I was in second grade. They put me on the 3rd and 4th grade team, started a year early because I just refused to play baseball. My parents were like, just do 1 more year. It's like, no, I can't take it.
Screw that.
So, yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm playing baseball again. So yeah, I was just always lacrosse, growing up.
Is that like, would you say that's like common for everyone in Maine to like start really early, or is it because your family was a huge lacrosse family?
I would say like for me, definitely my family, just huge lacrosse. There was like a couple of families in my grade that they all started young too, but most of the kids are starting middle school. The youth program is pretty low in Maine. So middle school, I would say, is usually when kids get into it pretty late.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of similar in Quebec. What would be the university in Maine? What's like
for lacrosse?
Or just in general, like
there's the biggest one is University of Maine up in Orono. It's about, I think it was about 2 hours from up north from Portland. That was the biggest university. A bunch of kids went, but for lacrosse, there's really the top school would be like D3, Bowdoin or Bates.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of tough where like you just don't you just can't really watch games and stuff, or at least like be at the game.
Yeah.
Like I know for us, at least in Quebec, so I started, I want to say probably 7th grade or 8th grade, something like that, where we only play box pretty much. Like we barely have any field, and that was always our biggest problem, where it's just like people don't really know what the sport is, but then you don't really have anywhere to like direct them to be like, go watch this and like kind of learn the sport, where that was kind of always hard. But yeah, starting 7th, 8th grade, we play box just during the summer. So like once hockey's done in like, I want to say April, March, April, you kind of pick up lacrosse, play box, and then we literally have a field season of about a month. And like September, we do like one tournament in the States, and then that's pretty much it. But we don't have like club lacrosse, not really a thing. Like we don't even have any like high school lacrosse actually. So that's right now, at least in Quebec, is kind of tough. We also we're like, I guess we're growing right now. We have about, I want to say about 1,000 people, like players. But I guess they've been doing a lot of things. Like yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw that, or Friday night, the NLL, the Toronto Rock and the New York Riptide were in Montreal playing a season game. So that was kind of sick. Kind of mad I couldn't be there. But
looks like a packed house.
yeah, dude, it was pretty packed. I think there was about, they said like 6,400 people there, which is which is really good for lacrosse. And I guess all the players kind of enjoyed it, and there's a good vibe from what I've heard. So that's definitely a good sign. But I don't know, crossing our fingers that we get more pro lacrosse and stuff. Okay, I want to, and that's one thing that's kind of funny though, because I talk a lot about Quebec and how our lacrosse is there. And I know some people think that like lacrosse in Canada is like that everywhere, but that's all our provinces are so different, which I guess is definitely similar in the States, but it's just, I guess all the East Coast states are probably similar in like process and like stuff like that. And then you probably get to like the Midwest, where it starts to kind of lower down, except for Ohio, because Ohio's so great.
Midwest grit.
Pure grit.
But yeah, like if you look at like Ontario, or like where Landy and Miles are from, Alberta, like they have a decent, I'd say decent lacrosse community where they actually have like a good numbers of players and all that stuff. So it's just so different to see. And so at least for me, it's kind of annoying to see, as like we're like the second best, or I'd say at second or third biggest province in the country, and we just like can't get any numbers going. All right, so I want you guys to start talking about like the whole college dream, and kind of finding a team, D1, D2, D3, whatever, because that's one thing. Like in Quebec, at least, I don't really know about Ontario and other provinces, but in Quebec, we don't really dream about coming to the NCAA until like, I want to say grade 10, maybe grade 11. And so it's definitely different, where like I've heard like you guys, it's like normal path, right? It's kind of like you go to high school, then you go to university, and you got to find yourself a team, at least for athletes. As like for us, it's like the school program is different, where we have high school that stops in grade 11, and then we have a school called CJEP, which is either 2 or 3 years, where you can kind of I think you guys call it probably like professional school, something like that, where you can like kind of become like a plumber, like stuff like that, where you don't have to go to university. And then university is really just for the people that want to like have a really high education, which is not something that many people do back home. So I kind of want to talk about, we can go in that same order again, where like, when do you realize that you can maybe go to a university for sport? And are you like, were you like thinking about university before even the sport, or are you just kind of, what's the thought process on that?
I think in the U.S. it's kind of like a stigma now to be like, okay, after high school you have to go to college, but in reality that's not the case. Like a lot of people don't have a calling to a corporate job, which is completely fine. Like,
right.
Like let's say you're really good, reading, certain instructions, and you're good with your hands. Like then you go to like auto school. I grew up with a kid who originally started in college, didn't like it. Now he's working as a mechanic and he loves it. So, just going off of that, like the college dream within sports, I know both these guys will probably agree. I think it starts as soon as you get to high school. Like as soon as you start like playing like the varsity athletics, like, and I'm not saying youth sports doesn't matter, but let's be realistic. Youth sports is more about helping kids build relationships, helping kids work together, helping kids compete in an environment where, they're going to do later on in life. But it starts, honestly, for me, kind of started in ninth grade, is like playing varsity, like in ninth grade, that was kind of, it was like, okay, now I can hang with the big dogs. What if, I take that leap, like, again? And I know varsity ninth grade, nothing like you kind of just, it's there, but now there's like kids nowadays, and I'm not, like, there's kids nowadays that are dreaming of playing the college lacrosse when they're in 5th or 6th grade. And their eyes are set on these huge Big Ten ACC schools, where in reality, they're from, like, somewhere that's not necessarily a hotbed, but they're still, like, dreaming about going there. Granted, there's guys that come from non-hotbed areas that go to those type of schools, but let's be realistic. All those guys come from Long Island. They come from Canada. They come from, like, Philly, Jersey, all those East Coast things. So, circling back to the fact that the dream, it doesn't have to be Division I lacrosse. And I think there's this huge, like, thing where Division I lacrosse is like that's where only that's where only like the best of the best go, which in reality there's not. Like, look at last year, like, I'll point out, like, good friend Sean Doran, Division II Player of the Year, ranks number 7 out of all, like, face-off wins of all time. He played D2, but yet he could probably go to Syracuse and still mess with those guys in the ACC. But yeah, that's kind of my take on the college dream about, like, coming from the United States or like being in the United States, going to school to play lacrosse. That's kind of where it all starts.
Yeah. No, I know. Like, dude, now with the kids, like, it's absurd. I coach, like, little kids, like U11 kids in Ontario, and it's like they already started, like, they started talking about college and, like, where they want to go. And I'm like, dude, you don't even know if you're still going to play in 3 years.
Exactly.
Like, you might just drop the sport because stuff happens. And it's just absurd to me that it's like it starts so early. And I guess it was worse before when kids could commit in, what was the age? Like 7th grade, you could commit.
Yeah.
Which is like, that was just did not make sense. But I guess now that rule's good. Dave, were you in that age group? Was that rule applied to you when you were in high school or no?
It was, yeah. The kids in my grade were committing, like, freshman, like 8th grade, but then I forget what grade it was, but they changed it when I was in high school that you had to wait till junior year.
Yeah, for the listeners, Dave is the grandpa of the team. Are you older than Mason and RJ or no?
Yeah. Most one.
So you are the actual grandpa of the team.
Yeah.
A sigh of relief right there.
Yeah, what about you, Oski? Where's maybe in Ohio or just you personally, where's the line?
I think in Ohio, I mean, obviously there are those little kids that, with lacrosse being, like, so up and coming in Ohio, there's these little kids that are really just, like, set on, oh, I want to go play college lacrosse. I want to go play Division I lacrosse at Duke. But I mean, in reality, it's a lot harder to do that than they think. And I think of one thing with, like, little kids having their mind set on, like, I'm going to play college lacrosse, Division I lacrosse. And, like, especially their parents end up just, like, draining these kids out, and then they lose their love for the sport. And so I think, like, for me personally, I didn't have that college dream of playing college lacrosse. I would say pretty much until I hit high school, when I started playing club lacrosse and, like, seeing the recruiting process in front of me a little bit. And I think that's where, like, I kind of realized this is, like, actually what I want to do in college.
Yeah, no, that's one thing though that we can touch a little later, but how you guys, it's mostly with clubs that you actually get seen by colleges than high school, which is something I never really understood. But we'll talk about that after. Let's go to Dave right now. Let's go to Grandpa.
Thanks. It's funny. Vetter, like, accidentally like summed me up because I like saying how kids are young that they're gonna go like ACC or Big Ten. When I was a little kid, like all I wanted to do was go to Syracuse. I was at the 2009 Syracuse versus Cornell championship game, the craziest ending ever, and I was like, this is like I gotta play college lacrosse. Like I gotta fulfill this dream. And I mean, I guess like Alveda made a good point. Like guys from like non-hotbeds, like those dreams. So like I kind of always knew like, it's not really that realistic, but I definitely want to play college lacrosse. Shout out my brother though. He did come from Maine, go to Q, so that was pretty cool. But for me, like he's also 6'6", so
that kind of helps, yeah.
But yeah, for me, I kind of always had that dream. It was never like how Aussie said, like parents pushing and like kind of get burnt out. For me, like my parents are always big on they had me play other sports. They had me not focus on lacrosse 24/7, like 365. But it was kind of like a self dream where like, all right, like, I know I want to play college cross, so I got to do what I got to do to make that happen. So I kind of always had that dream, and it never really went away. I just knew that's what I wanted. I mean, I never really like loved school or like really cared to go to college, but like I want to play college cross, got to go to college and do more school. So
yeah, you think you guys could do college without lacrosse or without just the sport in general?
I don't think so. As much as like we love to complain like how tired we are and like we're busy all the time, like I don't even know what I would be doing every day if I just went to class and then nothing.
Honestly, I don't really want to know what I'd be doing every day if I didn't play college.
Yeah, I think I would probably be the biggest degenerate.
Yeah.
Like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Just fat as hell, booze all the time, and don't show up to class.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Yeah, no, dude, that's like I started that in high school with hockey and stuff, and it's like I don't hate school, but it's just like I don't know what do people without sports do? It's like we get like during the fall when we're done fall ball and like we have our days, like I'm so bored. I have no idea what to do during the day.
Yeah, like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, like I guess you just game all the time. I don't know. Like
join a frat.
But yeah, no, that's yeah, I guess. You want to start it, Dave?
Yeah, let's do it. It's all just, you know what? Call it a cap on the season. 0-2, we're done. We're starting a new frat at the house.
The pond. At the pond.
At the pond. That'd be kind of sick, dude. I don't know how sick it would be if we had frats. It'd probably be a freaking mess here, but
definitely be a mess. Be funny to see though.
Yeah. But to come back on the point of like hotbeds and stuff, like it's not to stop anyone's dream, because if you are good enough, you are gonna make those teams, but it's getting so hard to like just get seen by those high D1 coaches if you're not in those, right, like the East Coast area or like Ontario and places like that. Even is Ohio considered somewhat of a hotbed, or like?
They're starting to consider like Columbus, Ohio, so more like middle of Ohio, to be like the hotbed. A lot of well-known guys who have a lot of connections to a lot of those big schools, run like the club program down there called Resolute. So that's like pretty much what they consider the hotbed. But in general, I wouldn't consider Ohio to be like a hotbed for lacrosse.
Right. Because then it comes down to all those freaking club lacrosse that you guys do, and you just have like tournaments every freaking weekend where your summer is just packed. Like you literally have no time. Like freaking Miles was telling me, was it his recruiting year or the year before? I think like grade 11. He was saying like he crossed the border 57 times in the summer.
That's
like
absurd.
you're like what, 16, 17? Like that makes no sense that you have to. And I guess for him it's further because he's from the West. But like that makes no sense that you have to travel that much to get seen, which is kind of the world of lacrosse, I guess, right now, where it's just not big enough yet, where you could be like hockey or football, where there's just teams everywhere, and you can get seen everywhere. But yeah, can you guys? One of you can probably take the lead on that, but explain to me the whole like club and high school thing. Why are coaches not going to high school games?
Yeah, I mean, I think you want better.
Go ahead.
I think so. Like with it, coaches going more towards club lacrosse rather than high school is because, I mean, for me, and I think it's pretty much for every state, lacrosse is a spring sport. So when it comes to like the recruiting process, a lot of these coaches that are recruiting are also the assistant coaches for these teams. They're like their offense coordinator, D coordinator. So throughout the season, they don't have any time to like make their way out to high school games and watch these kids play. So they take the time in the summer then to just travel to all of these well-known tournaments and pretty much just line the sidelines, watching specific teams, specific players, talking to coaches that they know. And I think that's why like the club lacrosse coaches have such like an impact in the recruiting process rather than like my high school lacrosse coach.
So is high school worth anything, or you just kind of play to develop pretty much?
Pretty much just to play to develop, and then for me it was like to hopefully win a state championship. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty much develop, and you get film from there. Use that film throughout the recruiting process.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. It's just so unnatural for me to like, because at least like at home, like we didn't have high school lacrosse or anything, but for like high school hockey, it was like the coaches were coming to those teams. Like we weren't playing club hockey to like be able to get seen or like get coaches to see us. So it's just like I never really understood that. And then even when I got into lacrosse, I never played on a club team, and I only played at Everest, which is a high school, and then like sent film around.
But you were at a prep
So I don't
school,
know.
right?
That was
Everest, the prep school.
Everest, yeah, prep school. So I guess that's probably different.
Yeah,
Hudson's
even in the
1-0
United
against
States.
Yeah.
Like even in the U.S., like the U.S., like so it's different. If you go to like a public school versus a prep school, prep schools they can recruit kids from all over the country and give kids kind of money. So like St. A's is a prep school in Long Island. Granted, that's also a hotbed, but like they're recruiting kids from around that area to go play. So that's why now some kids still do go play club lacrosse, but there's a prep school in Pittsburgh called Shadyside Academy. There's a lot of kids going D1 from Shadyside. Like there's one kid going to Harvard. There's two kids at Marquette right now. And they didn't play club, but they also didn't come from Pittsburgh. Like two of them did, but some of them are from Maryland that got like recruited to come to this prep school to come play for them. So it depends on where you go to school, honestly, too. That's also a factor.
So those private schools, you think the kids don't really have like the coaches are going to look at those prep schools more than the public school teams?
Honestly, yeah. To be honest.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at like high school lacrosse right now and all those pretty much powerhouses, every single one of them is pretty much a prep school, whether it's out in like Maryland, Long Island, some Philly. In Hudson, we got Western Reserve Academy, who's like starting to become like a huge powerhouse. And I think it's just because of their ability to recruit kids from all over. It's just like these coaches know that there's going to be talent on these teams since they can recruit kids to come there.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. And I guess prep schools also practice more and stuff. Because like public school, you guys practice, you did not practice every day, did you?
We did.
Yeah, we did as well.
You? Yeah. Right. But yeah, I guess those prep schools, the only thing is like the kids are just not so much like they might be better players, but it does not make them good people at all. Like that's one thing I realized when I went to Everest. I went like public school my whole life in Quebec, and then went to Everest in Toronto. And it was like I had such better friends and just better people around me at public school than I did at private school. Like Because there's going to be a group of people where it's like you're there because you have a goal and you're really trying to do something with that, and then there's just those people that are just filthy rich and entitled and just go there because Ma and Pa just decided that you were going there. But God, what was I going to say about private school? I don't know. Whatever. None of you went to private school, right?
Public school,
Nope. Yeah, public ride or die.
Public school on top, dude. Public school is so much better.
Way so much more.
Would you ever send your kids to prep school?
Matters where I am. Like if there's not like a good school system around me, yeah.
Right, true.
But
no, I want my kids to experience the main hallway bathroom activities.
After lunch, bathroom activities of all time.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, my kids need grit. They're going to public school.
My kids need grit. Yeah, no, I think maybe private school can be like a later thing. We're like later into high school, maybe, but like elementary school and middle school has to be public at least.
They gotta grow up with that grit, man. You gotta go to public school for at least a little bit.
Builds character.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does. And you get judged so bad, and I guess you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna figure out real.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I remember West Reserve. I went there with Reichel during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
That place is sick.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It's so nice.
Dude, their campus is better than here. Like, not even kidding.
Uh-huh. It's like pretty much, it's like $50,000 to go there a year.
Yeah. That's absurd.
And it's just right in the middle of Hudson, literally right downtown Hudson.
Gleason and Zoe are just watching me through the window right now.
Are they doing homework?
I don't know. They're just standing there.
Where are you?
The Intel building.
I was about to do that in there, and I was like, nah, I just want to sit in bed.
It's so cold outside, dude, and I didn't wear like a jacket over here, so the wind was ripping.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, dude, WRA also like practices every day for like 7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. They're up like in the morning, like 6 a.m. practicing. Because their coach is his name's Dylan Sheridan. And so he has like a ridiculous coaching experience within college lacrosse, coached at Princeton, Denver, started the program at Cleveland State, was the defense coordinator at Ohio State, and now he's making WRA into just an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah, I was talking to the Everest like lacrosse director last week, and you said like actually WRA is having a big problem right now where like no one wants to play them. Yeah. Because they're just so good.
Dude, like they actually, so we played them my senior year, which was sweet. And this was right with Dylan Sheridan's first year there. They started, this is when they started becoming a powerhouse. We played them in the MCLA. It was the Midwest Classic Lacrosse Association or something. And so we played them in the tournament. And it was a huge rivalry because it's just crosstown, not even crosstown, same town, public school versus private school in Hudson. We end up beating them by like 3. And they had like the number 1 defender in the class in like 2024. Kid committed to like Ohio State, and their kids were like crying on the sideline after the game. It was so funny.
How many points did Adam Oscarson have?
Dude, I think I scored once that game. Their goalie was going to Maryland, which was actually pretty sweet.
God.
Yeah. And it was actually sweet too. STX filmed like the whole game. So like STX, there's like a highlight tape on YouTube of us playing them.
Is it really? Dude, we're gonna have to go look at that after.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Any of you win a state championship or no?
No.
Damn, dude. We gotta win something.
I know, dude.
We're just a bunch of losers.
We're just a bunch of losers, and we're 0-2. It's great.
God.
We just need to get back on the train, man.
Yeah, I know. We need some positivity for the boys here. bring the mood up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And we also need to be at home for a Saturday night.
Dude, we need massive win against Wilmington this upcoming Saturday, and then gotta burn it down.
Mason Maybe's room, burn it down to the ground.
Yeah, dude, just his.
The pond is never gonna live through it. All right, so we kind of talked about your high school schedule a little bit, but can you guys talk about like I want to say just comparison. It can be about really anything, comparison between the high school lacrosse and college lacrosse. It can be on your actual lacrosse experience, your schedule, whatever you see kind of the biggest difference that you found between the two. And then we'll just go from there.
Same order. You want to do same order?
Yeah, sure. It doesn't really matter. Whoever's ready to go.
I mean, the biggest thing between high school and college lacrosse, I know everybody says that, I'll keep it short and sweet, it's the speed of the game. Like, I know, like, when we all came in here as freshmen, the first day of line drills, the ball was just zipping, like, right to my head. I was like, holy shit. Like, now I'm here now, but, like, it's pretty easy to get used to. But that's the biggest thing, is the speed of the game. Other than that, everything comes naturally. And, like, coming in, as a freshman and immediately being just like welcomed as part of the team, like not having to be initiated as a team, that was also really cool. That's why Mercyhurst is pretty special in my opinion.
I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think Better kind of summed it up pretty well. It's definitely the speed of the game. I mean, coming from Ohio, lacrosse, like the speed was definitely a little slower, just with, not being fully developed there in Ohio and not really being a powerhouse. And I mean, for me, like, in high school, we would play a lot of the private schools within our area, and all throughout the state, which was a lot more competitive. But then we'd play some of those public schools where it wasn't as competitive. So then really coming to Mercyhurst and like realizing, oh, this is college lacrosse, was definitely the speed of the game. And then just like, I think also being able to show your IQ and understand like different ways. It's like, for example, the defensive slide to you, or like how you're going to rotate when you're in on defense after you have to like slide and recover. So I think definitely it has, being here at Mercyhurst, it's really just developed my IQ as a cross player and like development throughout the whole process.
I know, I definitely feel that. It's just, at least like for me, it's like just the way that it's played. Where like I feel like high school is a lot more of like, at least for me, is a lot more like individual. Like this one guy dodges, goes to the rack, scores a goal, and it's like, oh my god, like we're good. I was like, now it's like, sometimes there's that one guy that's like can really have a team on its back, but it's like, especially for offense, it's gonna have to be all 6 dudes on the field. Like there's no shot you can just give the ball to one guy and let him beat everyone. But I don't know, it's the speed, but also just I want to say like, there's always something, there's a constant, like, not pressure, but just that you have to think about something. Like you can't just be doing like nothing somewhere. Like you either have to move off ball, you have to, you're writing, clearing, like you don't have a second to take a break and just kind of relax. You always got to be there. And then even when you're on the bench, like you got to help the guys on the field. You got to yell the plays, tell them what's going on and stuff like that. So I feel like compared to high school, that was a big jump for me.
One big thing for me, maybe because I'm like old now, but it's like maintaining your body, because it is so much more physically demanding in college than high school. Because like in high school, sit in class all day and then just go play lacrosse, and then I'd go home and just do nothing, and then like wake up and do it all over again. But like now, like again, maybe I'm just old, but like, you got to stretch, you got to work out, like you gotta like eat right, stay hydrated. Like you just gotta take care of your body. Just so much more physically demanding in college.
Vet rest.
Yeah, I mean,
vet rest, baby. Gotta get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave has been on a vet rest for the last month and a half, so.
Like you said that the team's got to peak later, dude. I'm just saving my body for the peak.
Okay, I see. That's
He's
good.
Being a team player.
Yeah, team player.
But yeah, no, I think it also just comes down to like your body when you're young doesn't really get sore. Like those days when you're playing club lacrosse and you play like 6 games in one day, and then you're still running to the pool at the hotel, like that just doesn't happen anymore. We play one game and I can barely wake up in the morning and walk.
Yeah, I'm crawling to bed.
Yeah. Dude, I woke up this morning and like my ankles just wanted to give up.
Also sitting on that bus ride for 6.5 hours after a game, dude. My knees are locking up.
Yeah, also. Yeah, we're gonna need like canes or something in a few years after college.
Dude, we just can never have Randy drive that freaking bus again.
Oh my
God.
God.
Ridiculous.
We have John for the rest of the year.
Randy was absurd. Dude, we were getting freaking burned by every car.
Oh my God.
We didn't have a single car.
It was terrible. Took so long.
And when we switched drivers, this meant taking his sweet time.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's 9 o'clock. I'm trying to get home.
Yeah. He has to get home too. It's like, do you not want to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we need John. John's a beast.
Oh my God.
Do we know, is his son committed to Mercyhurst yet?
I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Dude, his son is filthy.
Yeah, Rachel was saying that his son was in between Mount St. Mary's and Mercyhurst. So I know they were trying to do everything they could to get him to go there. But I don't know if he's committed or not.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of understandable. I feel like John has been with CR and O'Hagan for so long. That'd be devastating though. Cause dude, he's a pole, but he's so good. I don't know what's I think it's a private school here. I don't know what the name of it is, but like, I have you seen like his, what'd you say, Better?
Cathedral Prep, I'm pretty sure.
Right, yeah, like that black and orange helmet.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. They're not great because it's still Erie Lacrosse, but he's legit. I'm excited to see him here. It's getting weird though, and I mean, Dave, you're more in that case too, where like we like help recruiting and stuff, kids that like we'll never see.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like,
it's just
in the fall, and I'm like,
yeah. It's like you put effort in this, and then it's like I don't even care. Like,
just means nothing. Like, yeah, I hope like the team keeps winning, but like I'm not gonna be here, so like bring in who you want.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I don't know that, but it just feels so weird that it's like we try to do our best at those like prospect days and all that stuff, and it's just like it will not affect our lives in any matter.
No, not one bit.
Talking about John's son, how's your recruiting process? Because I know mine was really weird with COVID in Canada, and Vetter and Oski, you're probably with that COVID period too, and Dave's definitely a little different with that. We'll talk about that transfer portal too, how that went. But yeah, how did you get recruited here, Vetter?
It was kind of a mix of things, to be honest. One of the main reasons why I was there's this thing called Face Off Factory National Overnight. It's in Towson. It's held there every year. And I was talking to one of the coaches, and he's getting to know me a little bit. And he asked, "So where do you want to play? Like, do you want to play college lacrosse?" I said, "Yeah, I do." So like, what other schools are you looking at? What schools are you looking at, I should say? And at that point, I really didn't do like a lot of research yet, because I was still, I think I was a sophomore, and like obviously you couldn't have committed until you're a junior. And then, so being from Pittsburgh, one of my answers was Mercyhurst, and come to find out, he used to be an assistant coach here. So he called up our old assistant coach, O'Hagan, I'll say his name. And And he was like, hey, there's this kid's looking to come to Mercyhurst. Do you want to hop on a phone call with them? So later that night at camp, I actually hopped on a phone call with O'Hagan. He asked me, do you have any questions? And what the questions I asked was like, what is like, how many people are there? What's the student teacher ratio? He was like, well, that's actually a really good question. Most guys ask what kind of gear we have. So that kind of got the ball rolling him. So then he came and watched me at a few tournaments. And then after that, the rest is history, because then Coach Ryan called me up and was like, hey, do you want to come to Mercyhurst? How you play? And that's kind of how it happened. Mercyhurst wasn't the only school, but I also visited here like 2 times before I committed to get a real feel for it. It's not that close to home, but it's also kind of close to home to where if I do need to go, I can get back with relative ease. So that's how my recruiting process went. Also with
who else did you talk to?
There's a school in South Carolina or North Carolina called North Greenville University. They're D2. And then Hood College in Frederick, Maryland, they're D3. And just a couple other like low D3 schools, but those are like the main 3.
Yeah, dude, CR gets you, man. I
know.
He just wraps you, and then you just can't leave.
Trapped.
Stuck here
He was
forever.
good at what he did.
Yeah, dude, sending all those memes. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. Just like you wake up on like a Saturday morning. Did you guys ever get that picture with like his mug?
His
And
mug
he's
little
just
stuff.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious. What about you, Oski? Who were you? Oh, wait. Better. What was I just kind of thought about that. What was like the main thing that you were looking to for schools? Like, what were the important things that you were kind of looking for into a school? And it can be the team too, if you want to talk about the sport.
So obviously the school, I was originally coming in here with an Intel major, but I switched my major because that's just honestly not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Another thing too was obviously like having a good culture. And I remember I walked into the locker room when I was still like or actually I was a junior at the time. And he's no longer on the team, but his name's Hayden Bates. I met Hayden Bates for like the first time, and he just like talked to me. I was like, this is actually pretty cool. And I met a few other guys. I don't remember who I met, but
They weren't that cool.
Yeah, I just remember Hayden because he was just towering. The guy was a unit, but yeah, that was those are like the 2 main factors: was culture and education. And obviously, I didn't want to go somewhere that sucked. So
fair, really fair. What about you, Oski?
Yeah, I mean, my recruiting process was pretty similar to Vetter's, I would say. I mean, all my recruiting did come from my club lacrosse. I played for Resolute, Ohio. So I was making the 2-hour drive 3 days a week going down to Columbus, Ohio, just for practice.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was a lot. But kind of throughout the recruiting process, my club coach reached out to a lot of coaches in schools that he thought I could potentially play at. He was very close with Coach Ryan. So he reached out to Coach Ryan on my behalf, and then I ended up receiving an email from Mercyhurst about how they were interested. So ended up taking a visit here, met some of the guys. I actually met McCard and Jared Butler the first time, which was hilarious. Yeah. And then after that, I was talking to Seton Hill as well. Visited Seton Hill.
You bastard.
Yeah, no, dude. Saw that campus, and right away I was like, nah, this one's not it. Then I was talking to Cleveland State as well, just being close to home and having that option right there. But just kind of realized I didn't want to be in the city, and it was a little too close to home. It's only been like 20 minutes, so I ended up visiting Mercyhurst the second time, and then talked to Coach Ryan a few more times over the phone, and then pretty much just ended up coming in here. Really enjoyed the Intel program and hearing about it, and it's definitely been very successful so far.
Was Coach Healy there when you were talking to Cleveland State?
No, he was at Baldwin Wallace.
Classic Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, you guys were able to visit. How was COVID back then? During your recruiting
COVID.
process?
It was pretty much. It was like kind of at the peak, but a little bit past it. I feel like, or maybe a little early before the peak. I don't remember what part, but I mean, I remember I was still able to visit like with campuses. Like I didn't have to do online visits. I mean, all I would have to do was just wear a mask. But COVID, I mean, it did definitely affect like the coach interaction and throughout the recruiting process. But I mean, other than that, I don't really remember it too much.
Right. Yeah, no, COVID definitely screwed a lot of Canadians up, I would say. Let's talk to Grandpa. Grandpa that went to UMass Lowell, our only two D1, one of the two D1 transfers that we've had. We'll start with your recruiting process to UMass Lowell, and then we can touch later on the whole transfer thing.
Yeah, so for me, coming out of Maine, it's like kind of tough to get recruited. There's like a couple small club programs, but they play in like terrible tournaments in like the lowest division, so it's like not worth it if you're trying to go like anywhere. So I didn't even play club. I just played high school and went to like as many camps as possible. Like I went to the one that Lowell found me at was Elite 100 camp at Endicott, Massachusetts. And you stay at the Endicott campus for like 3 days. There's tons of D1, D2, and D3 coaches, mostly from the East Coast. And just like game footage from high school. So mine was different. I feel like guys now just all club. That's how they get recruited, and I was just the exact opposite, just no club. So it was very weird. Prospect camps. It was actually between Lowell and Lemoyne were my two options when it came down to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, you would have won a few championships.
Yeah. Would have. But the appeal of D1 won that, so.
Yeah. I was gonna say how was UMass Lowell?
I mean, it's very like low tier D1. It's I don't know. It's hard to compare. It's like kind of like the guys that go there, or like when I was there, you would have guys that like really cared, but then like the majority was like, yeah, like I went D1, like that's kind of all I cared about, and like we're like, oh, we're not that good, so like who cares? Like I'm D1, I can say I'm D1, but winning, like I don't care. And it just wasn't like a priority. The priorities there were kind of like obviously school and like extracurriculars, and like lacrosse was like not everyone's top priority at the times.
Yeah, that's always
garbage
tough.
Can bonfires.
Yeah, you did have some garbage can fires. They were pretty solid though.
I mean, hey, you have a house to do it, man.
I know. I'm thinking about a garbage can fire right now.
We should actually go to like a scrapyard and find like an old metal bin or something.
Just fire in the back.
That'd be huge.
Post
Imagine all the boys. Yeah, all the boys in the snow.
It's a good time, dude. It's a good time.
Any frats at UMass Lowell or?
No, there was no frats. It was the campus. There's not like Mercyhurst is like kind of like a set campus. You just all right there. Lowell is like you're in the city of Lowell, and then there's like shops and like houses, like people's apartments, like, and then there's just the engineer building. And then you walk across this big bridge, and then there's, like people's houses, like burrito place, and then there's just like the freshman door. So it's just all spread out through the city. So it was a weird setup.
So kind of like Cleveland State a little bit.
Yeah, I guess it'd be like that.
Right. Yeah, no, it's like it was so different because if like in Canada during my recruiting process, like it was middle of COVID, and so the border was like fully closed. So we just were not allowed to even come do like prospect days or like just like club teams or whatever. And we weren't even allowed to like come visit schools. So that was definitely a little odd where like I would like be on the phone and like email coaches and have like online meetings, but it's like you don't really ever see the school that you want to go to, and so you talk to certain schools and you never really get a real view of it. But yeah, I was talking to, who was it? Like Queens of Charlotte, Mount St. Mary's, Mercyhurst, and Limestone. And I don't know, it's just CR pulled a few strings, and there's just, like I said earlier, it just draws you in, and then
no escape,
and you get stuck here, and then he dips you.
Yeah, he leaves.
That's how it works.
See ya.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really blame him for leaving, though. Just
Got the bag.
With the amount of time he's been here, and he's definitely getting raising his paycheck there too. So
Double.
huh?
Double.
Yeah, I don't. You think that has to do with like the whole PLL thing too? Because now because where is Mount St. Mary's? It's Maryland, right? Or is it?
Maryland, yeah.
And I
like
guess
the
he
middle of
coaches
Maryland.
Philly, so it's definitely
Yeah,
a little closer.
Yeah, and I think him winning that PLL championship gave him a lot more recognition too.
True. Yeah, where his a little more success, and then the year that we had last year definitely helped too.
Yeah.
Except for that one game. That yeah.
Ryan really forced this guy out of D2.
The one that mattered most.
Yeah. Fuck.
That stupid locker room,
for
man, it's cursed.
For the people that listened, we did make the national championship last year and then got absolutely but something that I'm not gonna say. What was it, 20-5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have been 19. I don't think they got. I think it was 19. Was it?
No, it was
I don't know.
25.
Was it 20? They got 20.
They was trying to be positive, but
I was thinking maybe they didn't get to 20, but they did. They did.
yeah, dude, we're like the second biggest gap in a national championship game, I think.
Saw that.
Oh yeah, I mean we definitely are a record holder, so that's cool.
It's definitely, dude, that was so tough to be at. I don't even know how like the fans and parents were doing. Like
I felt so bad after.
Yeah, I was like, sorry for the waste of a weekend.
My buddy,
dude
from Maine.
My little brother comes up to me after the game. He goes, well, thanks for wasting my Sunday. And I was like,
dude. It's like, all right, we didn't need to.
Dude, I felt so bad. Like a bunch of alumni and people from the school came, and it's like they were hyped for like a quarter, and then
I know it's like we didn't even give them like okay, we lost, but it wasn't like a dog fight. Like it just was like,
yeah.
Dude, and no adjustments were made. It was just.
It was essentially just like, damn, they got us.
Yeah. Fuck.
Just had a perfect scout though. You know, I don't know. We also had like no energy for some reason.
We were in Philly for 4 days, climbing the goddamn Rocky Steps.
Yeah.
We had better watch like 10 movies in that hotel room.
Dude,
did you?
We were watching Last Dance the night before to get pumped up, and then all of a sudden.
And then next thing you know, the hotel fire alarm's going off, saying there's an intruder.
It wasn't a fire alarm. It was like stay in your room.
Shooting.
Okay. I wish he just shot us.
God.
Going into the game.
Jesus Christ. God, yeah, dude. I remember I like walked out, and my parents were like trying to be positive and be like, "Hey, like." Good work, and now it's just like, just don't try. Like,
yeah.
I just want to get the hell out of here.
I like hugged my parents like really quick and then just beelined it to the cooler. And I was like, I can't. I was like, I can't do this.
I need to forget already.
Yeah, I was like, get it out of my head.
Dude, that was absurd.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough go.
I just like, I don't understand. Like, I don't even know how we could be that bad.
Because we beat Lemoyne, and we thought that was our national championship. That's what happened. Because we also had another bird in our ear saying, "You guys win this game. The winner of this game wins the natty. The winner of this game wins the natty." We also have to realize there's another team that's playing that is not just as good, way better than us. Like, that's what we didn't realize.
Yeah. No, that Lemoyne game meant probably a lot more, sadly, at least for CR, than that championship. He seemed like he was so intense for the Lemoyne game, and I felt like the week before the championship was just like, it was like a vacation trip.
Yeah.
He thought it was a lock, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I did think it was a lock.
Yeah,
I didn't lock much. God. So Dave, you still don't regret coming here though?
No, I mean, it was a good transition. I really liked it. I mean, coming here, there was definitely some moments where I'm like, oh my God, like some of the run conditions.
6 a.m.s.
Yeah, there were some parts I'm like, oh my God. But no, I mean, I think it was the right move. I don't regret it at all. I mean, made tons of friends here. Love all the guys. I mean, we did get runner up. I mean, sucks, but we were, one of two teams to play that weekend. So
yeah,
it was nice. It was nice. Like when I was at my old school, I mean, it got to the point where I was like, dude, I don't even like lacrosse anymore. It felt like waking up for a 9 to 5. Like I have to go to practice. Like I have to suit up. Like I don't even want to do it.
Was it because of like the culture, the coaches, or just like the guys in general?
I mean, no, the guys, they were all great. Like they're all great guys. I love them. They were a lot of fun. Great guys. I think just like it was kind of like the culture of that you get from the school and like kind of the staff at the time. I mean, like people didn't really love the coach there. I mean, we had 12 kids in my grade, and I think last year when it was all said and done, I think there was only 2 left on the team. Like for like my grade, like the grade above us at one point was like I think 12 or 13, and they only had like 4 or 5. I mean, kids just weren't enjoying it there. So it was definitely the right move to hop in the portal and get out.
Get as far as possible from Maine and Massachusetts.
No, Maine's beautiful, but not Mass.
Massachusetts. How does the portal work?
I know it's changed since I did it, but for me, you call it was like the athletic, like, I don't even know, like advisor, call them and just be like, hey, well, you tell the coach first, obviously, but tell the coach.
Or you pull a John Shear and you just leave.
Yeah, or you could, I mean, you don't have to tell the coach, but I guess if you want to be like grow up and
take your stuff and go.
Yeah, do it the right way. You tell the coach. But yeah, I just called like the advisor and was like, hey, I'm in the portal. Like I want to join into the portal. And then the coach emails too and just like, yeah, I put him in the portal. And then you're in, and you can either, for me, they've asked like they can hold on to the scholarship and hold on to my spot, be like, if you want to come back, or you can like fully like release. And I was like, yeah, just release. Like I'm gone. And then the portal is just, it's like kind of scary because like you get emails, like, coaches are checking all the time. So you get emails, but it's not like high school where like you like start junior year and you have some time. I had like 2 months to decide. So it's like you just shoot out emails left and right. Like you just copy, paste, change the name of the coach you're emailing, name the school. you're just like, hey, just emailing anyone. You send it to any school you'd want to go to. You get some responses, some not. So, and then you kind of got like a short window to decide, do I like this school? Do I like the education? Do I like the team? Is it worth it? So it was kind of stressful because I was leaving a situation I didn't like. So I knew what I didn't want, but you never really know what you're getting into until you're really there. So short window of time, you kind of got to just go with your gut. So I think you made the right choice, though.
Fair. Yeah, I just feel like being in that spot where you have like nowhere to go is kind of weird. Like where you just left your old place and then you're just like in that middle where it's like no one, like you don't really have anyone that is in charge of you. You're just
yeah.
It
was definitely kind of scary because like it is kind of exciting. Like I can now I can go wherever like wherever I want. But then you're also like shit. Like what if no one wants me and I just don't have a home in the fall?
Yeah.
So.
No, because that's like I get like if I'm being honest, I did like think about it when CR left and stuff. I was like, what? Like, do I want to stick with this and like do it and or do I just go somewhere else? And then it's like I feel like that area where you have nowhere is so scary. Of like you can just leave and then not find anywhere else, or if you do, it might just be worse than where you were.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I don't know. I also didn't really have like a really good reason to leave. As like I was happy with here. Like there was nothing that didn't make me happy. Like I love the program, love the team, love the guys, love like rather how successful we are and the culture around us. So it was just because coach left, which I guess wasn't really a good reason or a good enough reason for me to really dip and go through that whole process. But I don't know. What did you guys think when CR and O'Hagan left?
Dude, I was at work prepping food. I was like cutting meat. And then all of a sudden it's like emergency Zoom call. And immediately I saw him crying. I was like, dude, what happened? Like something bad really happened. I was like, what is going on? I was in my manager's office on my phone. And then like I heard that and I like all I know is I was just like awestruck. Like, I had no idea what to think because I was like, there's just no way he's just leaving. And then what's going to happen for the rest of the summer? So then I told my manager, and my manager was like, you're off in 30 minutes. Like, you can just go home right now. I was like, all right, bet. So I went home. Somehow my parents found out before I did. And then they're like, what do you think? I was like, I don't know what to think. Like, I have no idea what to think right now. I'm sure you guys are probably the same. Like, I want to know everybody else's reaction to this.
Yeah, I mean, mine's kind of funny because O'Hagan sent that text in the leadership council group chat in the morning. He's like, mandatory team meeting tonight at 7. But I was coaching that night, so I sent him a text. I'm like, hey, coach, won't be able to make the meeting tonight. I got work. He's like, text me back. He's like, what time will you be done? And I said 8. And he just responds with, okay. So I have no idea like what this meeting's going to possibly be about. It gives me no heads up. And then I feel like my phone blowing up. It was right after you guys finished the meeting. I saw like McCard's text about it. And I would just see like, yeah, Coach Ryan's gone. So I called McCard and he gave me the rundown and I was just like what? Like no heads up, nothing. And it just sucked too because I wasn't on the meeting, so I didn't get to hear like anything from his perspective and like his reasoning. So I was definitely left in a little shut. Like I don't know. I was kind of confused and just like didn't have really good perspective towards it. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely a big adjustment with us so far. But I mean, who knows? It could be for the better, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
I was just kind of fired up that we didn't have like 6 a.m. conditioning.
Dude, honestly, and here's the thing too. Like, I know a lot of people's reactions. Like, I don't want to say it on the podcast, but like, obviously I'm going to say people were like, ooh.
Like, I mean, like, I'm not going to like, I wasn't like fired up that he was gone because like he did help us win. I'm not gonna like bash on him, but like definitely like there's like positive and negatives to obviously, but like definitely one big positive was like my body will feel better.
Yeah, finally.
I won't have to do so.
Yeah. No, dude, I was kind of like Oski. I had a box game that night, and so I can't attend the meeting. My box game's done at like 9:30, 10. We just won. My phone's freaking exploding, and it was pretty late. It might have been a little later, and so I wasn't sure if like anyone was up. So I'm like, fuck it. I called Landy because I'm like, Landy's like 3 hours early or hours earlier. So call Landy. He's like, he like starts laughing. It's like, yeah. So our coaches are gone. It's like, what the fuck? And so, dude, I was stuck between like we just won. I'm super happy. Our coaches are gone. I'm like, what are we doing? What the heck is going on? But I don't know. I tried to take it like on the positive side where I was like, I guess it's going to be refreshing and kind of have new strategies, but it's definitely, I gotta say, it's definitely hard to adapt as like you're so used to one way of doing for 2 years and then to change. I think this year, right, I think it's definitely building and we're getting better, but it was definitely harder in the fall to be like change the whole system and change just how, right, like our principles with the coaching, like how they do all that stuff. That was definitely a little weird, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We all get one more year, except for Dave. Sadly, you're gonna have to go.
It'll come back
Did that change your thought about coming back at all, or no?
No, I mean, at that point it's pretty late, anyways. But I mean, no, I was like, I have one more year of lacrosse. I'm gonna use it no matter what. So it wasn't gonna change anything.
Right. It's good to hear. The boys are too nice. That's why you wanted to come back.
Yeah, dude, just love the boys too much.
You want to represent DBU one more time?
Yeah, DBU one more time. Shout out DBU.
Yeah, dude, we got to get our. If there's any snow, we got to get our football game back.
We do need that game back. It was fun.
Yeah.
We got no snow this year here.
No.
It's very
and it's
weird.
like now we're in season, and I don't really want to do a full contact football game.
That would be really around the corner, gets trucked and breaks his ankle.
Hey, coach, our starting middies out. Oscarson actually put him in a body bag on a slam.
Coach gets a call from the hospital. Like, yeah, half our team is broken.
Yeah, but like you should have seen this game. It was unreal.
All time.
Someone has to highlight. We were like filming the game.
Yeah, rookies are filming.
God. You guys still happy with Mercyhurst?
Oh, yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, great guys, good school. Just, overall, can't complain.
It's a guys that make it.
Yeah. No, it's a good time. I don't know. I feel like it'd be great if we had like 1,000 more people at school.
Yeah, like a little bit bigger.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like I would still complain. So like, never really. Yeah, exactly. Like we went to those other schools this weekend and the weekend before, and it's like, oh my God, this goes so great. But then it's like, if you were at that school, you would probably complain about something else. So.
Yeah, you're even saying that to Bobak, Jeremy, when we were at Wittenberg going to eat. It's like,
yeah,
dude, this place is sweet. Like, I should have came here. Where's your socks? And you're like, dude, you'd be saying the same thing if you were here.
Yeah.
Like you would complain about other things that they're not as good at. So I got to say that Roanoke cafeteria was absolutely delicious, though.
Fire. It was pretty fire.
Yeah.
That place was sick. I did not know that Coach went there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do your research?
Oh, no. Sorry. Did you?
I did.
Did you really? Damn.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
knew
that's on
there.
me.
Well,
Sorry,
they
I didn't
actually
use.
recruited him to be the coach.
I guess you didn't do much research when you're paying a coach, huh, Cap?
I
No,
just
that's
didn't
me.
use my Intel talents, my Intel skills.
Yeah, okay.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, some
Sure.
open source intelligence.
All right. Well, that's all I got, fellas. Thank you for hopping on. Can I just talking with you guys? Always a good time. Of course. If you guys want to ever do more content, we can definitely figure out something. And let's have a year, huh?
Let's get a win column on Saturday, boys.
Why not us?
Yeah, we definitely need one. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, fellas.
All right, thank
Have
you.
a good day, boys.
Peace.